Hello, everybody, and good morning on this April 11th, 2023. It's about 8:30 a.m. Chris Wood here, by the way. Welcome to my channel for anybody who might tune in, and for anybody that does that's new, I hope you like, share, subscribe. This is very serious and important. Families are murdered and missing, kidnapped. It is Ontario Provincial Police. Sex slavery trafficking, human trafficking, homeless human trafficking, exploitation, identity thefts with proof, brain injuring, skull splitting, body damaging, lung and kidneys, full skull splitting, full right side brain damage, medical treatment refusals, lies, cover ups, time buying, arrest refusals, false arrest, kidnapping, sex assaults, medical treatment refusals. The hospital here is criminally and negligently involved in these crimes and cover ups with and for the police, with and for themselves, with and for inmates that they are using here in Napanee. I have been fully brain injured and have not been able to do a damn thing about it. Time has been bought, damage has been done. I spoke police crimes about the human homeless trafficking and the natives' families are murdered and missing. Ontario Provincial Police, Spencer Mills 14716, now allegedly Aurelia. Staff Sergeants, years 2019 2021, here in Napanee. Ex Chief or Commander, year 2019. He and a Wanna Harbored inmate are guilty of stalking children for child sex slavery. Shannon Cork, Robert Kane, Robert Lucas, Stacy, a mental health worker, was here in Napanee, now Kingston. She's guilty of human trafficking and attempted murders. And Shelley Hafner or Huffner, Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police. Doctors here that are involved: CEO, Administration, Patient Relations, Dr. Tatiana V, aka Margie V. Name and file falsifier, medical blacklister, the one that assures crimes for her and the police. And the inmates that are involved, they harbor wanted sex offenders as well. The one known as Billy Wooldridge. But anyway, Dr. Joy Hadley, Dr. Barton, Dr. Pritchard, Dr. McGregor, Dr. Waldron, triage nurses Terry, Tanya, David. They are criminally and negligently involved in co-committing with OPP crimes and the human homeless trafficking, the homeless trafficking. They're guilty of having my mother stalked and murdered. They're guilty of killing my two dogs, obstructions, false arrest in an attempt to give me a criminal record. This is how the police are getting away with these crimes. And it is being done to poor, homeless, elderly, disabled, and natives too. They are guilty of domestic terrorism. They are guilty of treason. They are guilty of murdering a bloodline with proof. Homicides, drug trafficking, drug lacing, kidnapping, sex assaults. Ontario Provincial Police and the inmates and others that they are using for drop charges who are involved in these crimes. I hope that was seen. Those are the human traffickers here in Napanee, and those are the ones that are also involved with the police. I have had full identity change with proof, full skull deforming with proof, being rushed to the hospital, ambulance, being kicked out, being arrested for wanting and forcing my medical rights. As a result, I was arrested through the hospital, through the CEO, to aid in covering up crimes. But yes, even the police are involved with natives. Families are murdered and missing as well. And as crazy as it may sound, it is being done through what is called remote neural monitoring. And yes, I know I realize it sounds crazy for ones who may not realize, but it is police and military tech that's been in use since the 60s. And not a lot of people are aware of this. But what it does, it is a nano microchip implant. And what it does, it's designed to attach to a person's central nervous system to destroy the person's central nervous system from the inside. But it also enables for others to have invasive surveillance through another person, through a person's eyes, through a person's ears, almost like a broadcast. It's a broadcast hologram through EMFs, through Wi Fi, cell phones, and computers. Once a person has this in them, and this is how I am going through my identity theft and changes. This is how a lot that's been happening to me is being done. I am having a bunch of these bastards, the ones that I've showed you that are involved, using this on me, mentally fucking me up in hopes that I go crazy, in hopes that the police and everyone else involved can justifiably finish what they've started on me. A revenge crime at that. The ones also involved, the ones in those pictures, is one named Blair Hardy. He is a drug trafficker, drug lacer. He's guilty of rapes. Another one, Billy Waldridge, he is a wanted Harvard inmate. And he is untouchable. I've had the police surround me with hands on guns to prevent his arrest. He is a child stalking pedophile. He frequents Toronto as well. There is a Maggie Falls, Bert Hustler, Jason Two Step Van Alstyne, a guy here in Napanee, a Tyler Lake, a Dale Hartwick, a Tony Hearns, a guy named Ray Ray. They're also guilty of murdering animals as well. They murdered my two dogs, arson attempts on my previous address, death threats, and obviously attempts at it, having my mother stalked. Billy Waldridge, the Harvard inmate, when he was stalking my mother, he was calling my mother mom, the psychotic piece of shit. And he was phoning her as well. He got her phone number and was phoning her and giving death threats to her and me, to my mother, before she died in 2020, and they caused it. through using R&M on her because of her age. It caused tumors, it caused cancer, and it caused her death. And it was done in 2020, December 20th, 2020. They're guilty of using it on another guy here named Anson. He is a native. It caused him cancer, and it killed him as well. Blair Hardy, he raped a woman here in Napanee who is now dead from a drug overdose. And he got the shit kicked out of him for it. It was done right in this building where I live, not my apartment, but in this building where I live. And none of them are arrestable, none of them are touchable. I've even had the justice of the peace who was involved with this accused me of being high and hallucinating on marijuana and hallucinating being sodomized. I don't fucking think so. I was sex assaulted as a child several times. So, no damn hallucination in any way, shape, or form, but that was done to obstruct. That was done because it was through the police and through Billy Wooldridge. He now lives at 149 Center Street North here in Napanee, Ontario, Canada. He is bald, glasses, sometimes a goatee, roughly in his 60s or 70s. He is a heroin dealer, a heroin addict. He is the one that's the escaped inmate, the harbored inmate. Blair Hardy's also boyfriend to a cop here too, one that's involved, Spencer Mills, 14716, the one now that's allegedly in Aurelia, Ontario. So I have no feeling. I have been so seriously injured that I have absolutely no feeling or stimulation in my head, especially on the right side. And I haven't for months, approximately 5 months. And I have not been able to do a damn thing about it. I try to get medical help. I end up going to jail. That's what happened to me. That's why I was charged, falsely charged, for trying to get medical help and forcing my human rights, my legal rights, my medical rights. And also me telling the CEO himself that if he was going to kick me out or to cover up his crimes and other crimes that they are responsible for at the hospital, then he was going to pay to have me transported to a different hospital on his dime. And as a result, I was arrested for it the very same day I spoke of finishing getting arrested on police, doctors, justice of the peace, and everybody else involved. It was conveniently done to me the very same day before I had a chance to do anything. And it's because I have the R&M on me. They see what I see, they hear what I hear, they know what I know. So even in my sleep, even have these pieces of shit garbage using this. When I eat, I've had so much damage to my body. When I eat, my food goes to the left side of my body, no longer my right to my or my right side of my body, no longer my left to my stomach. And when I'm having R&M being used on me, I'm also having urine and feces from these bastards who are using this on me, treating me like a fucking toilet. And it's going through my body. It goes through my mouth. I taste it, and it is fucking disgusting. I'm being treated like a damn toilet, and I'm being decayed from the inside out, and I know it. I'm just sitting here having my morning coffee. I've shown and proven my skull deforming. I've shown and proven the different changes that have taken place with me over the course of 3 years. This has been going on, but it's been happening to me because I spoke up and tried to save lives. Speaking of the human homeless trafficking that was taking place here at the mornings at a place called the Morning Star Mission, and the homeless exploitation for monetary gain. They're involved with causing homelessness to human traffic and then exploit. And it is through the police, through the inmates that they are given freedom to, others that are up on charges who are aiding them in their crimes for drop charges. A guy named Dale Hartwick who is up on stabbing charges, and he's actually my cousin, and he's involved with this. Guy named Tony Hearns looks like Axl Rose. He has long red hair. He's the Axl Rose of Napanee. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here because even though I'm not showing it or whatever, I am in excruciating pain, and I am getting what feels like air going right through this part of my head and through my temple area right now. And I am in excruciating pain. So, one way or another, the police that are involved, you're going to answer for the crimes that you are guilty of, the hospital, and everybody else. One way or another, you're going to be arrested. You're going to answer for this. I am the end of my bloodline as well. So, you murdered my mother. You're doing this to me, and you're guilty of attempted murder on an entire bloodline by doing this. So, lie, time buying, cover ups, accusations of being on drugs that I do not do. I am against drugs, and everybody knows me, knows I'm against them. I've lost too many friends and family. I did do them at one point in time. I'm not perfect, but I overdosed back in 2012 on what was called Dilaudid, which is basically synthetic heroin, and I overdosed. That was my wake up call. I have not touched it since, and I've lost even my niece from junk. So, no, I do not do them, and I am highly, highly against drugs. Pot, or marijuana, whatever, that's different. I don't even like to take pills, nothing synthetic. Lies about me about being suicidal and self harmer. I'm about life. I've been trying to help save myself and save others who are going through this, and I know I'm not the only one. So that is 100% a lie, but I had long hair at the time and I have tattoos, so it was automatically believed. Lies about being having long criminal records in history, not true in any way, shape, or form. Was never in jail, never had no record until I was falsely charged by the hospital in an attempt to cover up their crimes. That's been happening. Lies against me about long psychological records in history. Never, ever have I seen a psychiatrist. I've never been to any kind of nothing like that. I've never needed to. If I would have had to have gotten help, I would have. If it would have come to that, I would have gotten it, but I've never needed to. And they're using their badges, positions, lies, false guise of law, poor, homeless, elderly, disabled, and this is how they are getting away with it through those lies, badges, positions, and knowing because poor, homeless, elderly, we can't afford to monetarily or any other way fight the lies and bullshit once they've been cast against us to get help. Me and my mother were test subjects to prove these pieces of shit can commit any crime here in Napanee, Ontario, Canada, and get away with it without consequences. Like I said, half of them that are involved have now transferred to avoid arrest, charging, and lawsuits in hopes of deniability. They bought just the right amount of time because I'm being broadcasted through right now. Look how my skull has been split and it's right here on the right side bulging up because I got air going through my damn head. This is being done to me right now by one of the punks Tyler Lake and Jason Two-Step Van Alstyne, who are using R&M on me right now. This is why my skull's been completely and totally split right down the center. Everything that's been happening to me since I was shot back in 2019 by the XOPP chief has all been on my right side. That's when the lies, the cover ups, the time buying, and everything else started against me as well, preventing me medical help and the cover ups and everything else. I hope this is taken serious and I hope this is shared because it needs to be known that the police, inmates, and doctors are the ones that are behind these kind of very serious crimes, hate crimes, especially when it involves natives, poor, homeless, elderly, disabled. So I would not be saying this. This has nothing to do with hate or anything else in any way, shape, or form against police. This has to do with them committing very, very serious crimes and getting away with it. And they are doing it above suspicion, completely and totally brain injuring victims, manipulating them this way, and completely and totally changing people's identities through this shit. This is how a lot of them are disappearing. This is how a lot of people are disappearing. It's through identity thefts. It's through being mentally injured and manipulated through this shit because it's being used criminally. So this is how a lot. This is how exactly how it's being done and getting away with. And because it enables for invasive surveillance, like I said, basically like a hologram, when it's being used on children, they can actually use this shit to sexually assault. They can invasively use this on your children. They can invasively use this on adults as well. And a lot of people may not even realize what has taken place, especially if it's being done to a child by a bunch of fucking pervert pedophile pieces of shit garbage. And that's exactly what the fuck all these little bastards are too. They are pedophile pieces of shit garbage. When you're involved with police, involved in human trafficking, financial thefts and frauds as well, bank frauds, forgeries is taking place. I am going to get off here. I hope everybody has a good day. Love all, hate none. Please share this because it's very serious and important and it needs to be taken serious. Be safe, everybody.